Good evening and welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals February 17, 2022 meeting. Is Scott Shippey with us? There he is. So I'm pleased to welcome Scott Shippey, who's the Town of Foxborough's new Building Commissioner and Zoning Enforcement Officer. And we welcome you and look forward to working with you. Pleased to have you here. The time being 7 o'clock, Teresa Federico seeks a variance under Section 4.1.1, Table 4-1 of the Code of the Town of Foxborough, Massachusetts, Chapter 275 Zoning, to allow the construction of an attached garage to a single-family home that would result in such home having a side yard setback of 5 feet, where 15 feet is required. The property is located at 8 Margaret Road in the R15 Residential District. It is not located in any restrictive overlay district. Ms. Federico, you want to come up to that table? So, first of all, you can see there are 4 people here. Diane is our administrative secretary, 4 zoning board members, but only 3 of us can vote, and that's the 3 regular members. So Dave, Kim, and I would be the only voting members, although all of us will participate.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
Tell us what you want to do.
I just want to put a garage on the side of our home where the driveway is. Excuse me. Just because the major reason was I'm a nurse and I'm on call sometimes, and I think the last time a couple years ago, I had to shovel like several feet of snow, and I'm like, this isn't going to work. So I might have to get in kind of quickly, sometimes within 30 minutes, so it was just something we thought that we could try and see if we could put a garage on there.
So you have a fairly sizable piece of property.
Yeah,
The house is located close to your
Right.
neighbor.
yeah.
Any idea why the house is situated where it is? I know you've only had the house for about 4 years.
Yeah, we just moved there, and honestly, we bought the house, not, the first thing I said, I hope we can add a garage on. I didn't really realize how close it was, but long story short, the other side of the back has a septic system, so that wouldn't really work. To put it on the other side of the home, and then we'd have to kind of go through a wall and everything, and it was more cost prohibitive. The other plan would be in the very back, like go all the way back and like in the middle of the backyard. And there's a big tree there, and it's like our only tree. And I'm like, I really don't want to lose that big, beautiful tree. So I, figured that we would try and see if we could get a variance, just to see if we could have it placed, where the driveway is, the easiest way to just go in.
Right. Now on this side of the house, though, you've got 27 feet.
Yeah, but
Is it
Right.
rocky there, ledge there, wet there, do you know?
No, but there's a big tree in the front there, and then there's a wall. So we'd have to take down the wall and put a driveway out through the wall. It would just, be well, probably a lot more expensive there. And then we do have the septic's in the back, but,
But essentially, you don't know why the house is placed so close to, to one side.
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no.
Go ahead.
Where's there, looking at the house from
Yeah.
the street, the right side,
Yeah.
so there's that section of it that kind of carved down. Was that, with the original house, do you know, would that have been a carport at one point? I mean, just,
As you look to the right?
yeah, where you've got the 27-foot.
Oh, yeah, that was an in-law. There was, when we moved in, we think that was the original, and then the other piece was actually on the left side was added on. And they made the existing garage, they had a garage there, but they made it living space. And there was a separate in-law when we moved in on that side to the right.
So that was a garage,
There was a garage on the left.
something might be like that, looking at the other houses on the street.
Yeah, they made a living space out of that.
Kurt and Kim, any questions?
Not at the moment.
Can that, I got one more. Can that, we'll call it now the former garage area,
Yeah.
can that, if you looked at reclaiming that as a garage?
We thought about doing that, and we had a builder person look at it. He just said it would just be so much more work to do that, to put that back. It'd probably be a lot more expensive too. And then, it's open, we do use that area as as a living space, so, we thought it might be better to just try and just add on to that. But when you look at that, they added on behind that, so it's not just like there's just a room there. They put a bathroom, there's a bathroom, and then there's a bedroom. That was added on as well, so it's not just, that spot where the garage is actually living space beyond that in the back.
Do you know if that was done with permits?
I have no idea. We were, like I said, we bought it in 2018,
Yeah, no, I understand.
yeah.
Okay, this is a two-car garage, would be?
I think it's 16. I think it's like a one-car
Okay.
16. It's a little long, but it's 16 feet, I think. It'd probably just be one car in there, definitely. My car.
So how will you get into the new garage? Will you put a door on the existing house, or?
Probably, yeah. I'm not positive. I think it would be nice if we could go in through the house, you know, because we don't get a lot of sun in the front, and it's very icy. So,
When you're saying you want to avoid the snow?
yes. Well, especially just, it would be nice if I didn't have to do that.
You had some nice icicles hanging there from the house.
Yeah, I have
earlier.
it's terrible, honestly, it's terrible.
Scott, do you have any questions?
No voice.
I think he's muted.
hear
Scott,
me?
you're a talking head over there. We can't hear you. There we go.
Not,
Okay.
Nice.
Anything else? Any other questions? No. So the criteria for a variance,
Yes,
either soil conditions, topography, or the shape of the property,
okay,
have to dictate the need for a variance.
right.
If we were to literally enforce the current provisions of the bylaw, and again, it's an issue of your side yard setback,
Right.
there would have to be a substantial hardship to you. And there can't be any substantial detriment to the zoning bylaw by granting the variance. So
Sure.
just tell us why you feel you deserve to obtain a variance from us.
It's basically just for safety, honestly, so that, first of all, I can get out without falling and running out of the house. And it's basically, like I said, when I get called in, it's usually a 30-minute thing. Although now, you know, I could probably stretch it a little bit, but more of safety and just for me to be able to get out and get to where I need to go on time.
Have you, I think your next neighbor, the Webbers, have you talked with them?
Well, we talked with them. I didn't specifically ask them. I think actually my husband might have spoken to the people that it affects, unless they rent the house from somebody, they rent it. So we actually, I believe he spoke to them, but no one has, you know, said anything,
Okay.
you know, in response to saying, no, we really would prefer you didn't do that, so.
So the house on one side of you is a rental?
A house that that is actually borders our fence. They're like right on our fence, if you look at it, their property. Yes. I think the owner, he owns a business in town, but he rents it out to local people. They've been here for years. They rent it.
So what's that, 6 Margaret Road?
I think that's 10.
10 Margaret Road, oh, going the other way.
Okay, any other questions?
So let's see if anybody else wants to be heard.
Yep. Anybody wish to be heard? And there's nobody zooming in. Why don't we close the public portion of motion?
I know we closed the public portion of the hearing.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. Do you want to begin?
I think I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Okay, so, as you know, I asked Diana to send copies of a couple of cases. They were the ones that I remember, largely because they were neighbors of mine. And one I was direct abutter, the other one an abutter to an abutter. And they're relatively similar to this in the sense that we had, in both cases, somewhat of a unique, unusual shape of the property that dictated where the garage was going to be placed, or where the addition to the house was going to be placed. It would be up against the side yard setback. I think in both cases, the shape issue of the properties were probably a little bit more extreme than here. But here again, you do have an unusual. Certainly, it could be rectangular, but it's not. And the house is at an angle, and the house itself is closer to the side yard, you know, to start with. So I think you certainly have a shape issue that would, you know, potentially warrant a variance. Certainly to grant it, I don't see any substantial detriment, so the issue comes down to the hardship. And that's where I'm willing to see where everybody else is.
How many times a year do you get called out in the snow?
Well, I guess it depends if it snows, I don't know. Several times a month, I'd say. So, and then I work full-time, I have to get in there. But.
You're shaking your head.
Well, I'm really having trouble warming up to it. There's first we know that there was a garage there once before, so the hardship got created by the owners at the time, right, when they eliminated the garage. If there was in fact a hardship, that's when it got created. I guess that's the big thing, and then I'm not really feeling that what you have is that much of a hardship. Yeah, who wants to go out in the snow and, clean the cars off and all that kind of stuff. Believe me, I understand that as one that does not have a garage. So, what's Kim think of it?
I am also struggling with the hardship question. I definitely see what you're saying, Barney, about the shape, certainly. And I also agree that there's no substantial detriment. So I totally agree with you on those two things. But getting down to, a hardship, but I'm certainly happy to listen to someone else has a
Argument for it.
a way to, yes.
Kurt, thoughts?
Similar to what Kim just mentioned, I'm on board with everything except the hardship issue, and that's where I'm struggling to connect those dots,
So I think what we're really saying is, not only is it no hardship, it's really more out of convenience
Yeah, well,
that you're
yes. I have to be there within 30 minutes, so
looking.
that's all.
Of course, even though the vehicle might be in the garage, you still might have to clear up the,
Well, I can usually just go right through it. That's what I have at my other house. I would just open the garage, hit the gas and go, a little different than having to shovel for a while. I really didn't think about it until, there was like a lot at the time, and I was like, oh boy, this isn't good when I have to get in within so many minutes, that's all.
but again, I think what people are saying, again, it's more convenience.
Sure.
And the substantial hardship, again, it might be a hardship, but it may not be substantial. It's a hardship, for the few times a
Right.
year that you need to, to gun the
there.
car to get out.
Right.
And, hopefully those times are fewer than greater. So, unless we have anything else. Scott, anything you might want to add?
Sure, if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yep, no, I have nothing to add, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. A motion then?
I would move that we not grant the requested variance.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Well, first of all, thank you very much. We'll write up a decision. You do have a right to appeal it.
Okay,
The appeal goes to the court system, however.
right.
After we prepare the decision, sign it, it's filed with the town clerk, you'll get a copy of it. Once it's filed, that starts the appeal process, or the appeal period,
Okay,
which is 20 days. So if you do want to appeal this decision, you have 20 days from the date that the decision itself is filed with the town clerk.
okay.
Okay?
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Feeling that there was a garage there. I had a feeling that
Yeah.
there had been a garage there.
Because there were so many others.
Yeah, looking at similar. Not that that's the end of it, but it's like,
Frank, just give us a second.
Brief 10 minutes apart. Cases.
Okay, the time being 7:10 PM. John Theron, I hope I am pronouncing that correctly?
That's very close.
Okay. How close?
Theron.
Okay. John Theron Helton and Beverly Christensen Helton seek a variance pursuant to section 4.3.1 of the Code of the Town of Foxborough, Massachusetts, Chapter 275 zoning, to allow access to a lot not through or across the lot's legal frontage, and any other special permits, variances, or findings as may be required with respect to the foregoing. The property is located at 310 Cohasset Street in the R40 Residential and Agricultural District, and is not in any restrictive overlay district. Right?
Good evening. Attorney Frank Spillane here for the applicant owners. Again, John and Theron Hilton and Beverly Christensen Hilton. The property is located at 310 Cohasset Street, which is within the R40 zoning district, and it's right next to Stockbridge Road and across the street diagonally to the entrance to the Borough Elementary School. The owners are requesting a variance from section 4.3.1 to allow access onto their property at 310 Cohasset Street, not through or across their legal frontage. Again, section 431 states that access to all lots in the town of Foxborough shall only be through or across their legal frontage. And frontage is defined under section 10 as that distance along a lot line which abuts a street or streets that access, and that access shall only be through or across that legal frontage. So 310 Cohasset Street has 115.76 feet of frontage on Cohasset Street and no frontage on Stockbridge Road. However, the layout for Stockbridge Road is just 4 feet from their front property line. Their lot is a pre-existing non-conforming lot because the lot as it exists today contains 12,015 square feet of area where 40,000 is required. Again, it only has just over 115 feet of frontage where 200 feet are required, and the lot width is approximately 97 feet where 134 feet is required within the R40 zone. Additionally, the house is also a pre-existing non-conforming structure because it has a front yard setback of 27 feet where 35 feet is required. The side and rear yards are conforming. So the applicants and owners are requesting that this variance be allowed so that they can access their property over an easement that they have with the owners of 1 Stockbridge Road, and actually that's where their driveway currently is located. I'm just going to give you a brief history of the lot itself. So the house was built in the early 1900s. The original lot that was deeded out with the house already on it was deeded out in May of 1923, so well in advance of zoning. The original lot was a rectangle, 115 feet by 75 feet by 115 feet by 75 feet, with 75 feet of frontage on Cohasset Street. So again, it was well before zoning, but it now is a non-conforming, pre-existing non-conforming lot because it's well below the requirement within the town. Again, requirement is 40,000 square feet. The original lot only had 8,625 square feet. The applicant, Beverly Christian Hilton, at the time her name was Beverly Christian Yeager, purchased the property in July of 1987 with her then husband, Brian Yeager. The lot at that time, again, was pre-existing non-conforming because it had the lack of area, frontage, and lot width. And again, the house was pre-existing non-conforming because it didn't have the setback required. At that time, the driveway came off of Cohasset Street to the right of the house as you look at the house. However, the driveway was partially on the abutter's property. It was about half on their property, half on the property owner to the right. And this was determined when Stockbridge Road was actually developed. And that definitive plan for what was called Sunrise Court, which was the development of Stockbridge Road, was signed by the planning board on January 30th, 1997. And a plan of land of Sunrise, which included a parcel B and a redesigned lots 1A and 3A, was signed by the planning board in December of 1998. So approximately just under 2 years later, two of the lots were redesigned and a parcel B was included. Beverly Yeager at the time and her then husband Brian Yeager acquired this parcel B, which contained 3,390 square feet of land and an additional 40.76 feet of frontage on Cohasset Street. They also acquired at that time the right to use Stockbridge Road as a road in the town of Foxborough can be used, and an access easement over Lot 1A to their property. Again, they acquired that in January 25th, 1999 from what was Romex Realty Trust. A portion of that parcel B is subject to a drainage easement. Also on that date of January 25th, 1999, Romex Realty Trust sold that Lot 1A, which is 1 Stockbridge Road, to Daniel and Stephanie Lenahan. And that was subject to the access easement for the Yeagers at the time and the drainage easements. The Lenahans still live there and own that property. The drainage easement that's on Lot B and on the property for 1 Stockbridge Road is for the benefit of the drainage from Stockbridge Road in that development. And is it located immediately to the left when you drive into Stockbridge Road and right in front, depending on how you look at the house, but if you're looking at the house from Stockbridge Road, right in front of the applicant's house. The lot and house, therefore, at 310 Cohasset Street on that date, as of, and also currently, is still a pre-existing non-conforming lot and structure for the reasons previously stated. But the lot now is less non-conforming than before because the lot acquired additional land, more frontage, and more width than it did before. So it's more conforming than it was. Around that same time, 1998, 99, the Yeagers renovated the interior and the exterior of the house, making it larger going back and improving going up. At that time, they also constructed a new driveway off of Stockbridge Road over the easement, over 1 Stockbridge Road, and built a walkway from the new driveway to the front porch of the house, removed the driveway off of Cohasset Street, seeded, and landscaped that area out front. And then also with the permission of the Foxborough Post Office, they moved their mailbox from Cohasset Street over to Stockbridge Road. Additionally, a white fence, I don't know if anyone went down to the property, there's a white fence that goes along Cohasset Street in front of their property, turns and goes up Stockbridge in front of the property of 1 Stockbridge Road, but it's in front of their house if you're looking at their house from Stockbridge Road. It ends near their existing driveway off of Stockbridge Road. Again, if you're looking at the property from Stockbridge Road, it appears that that property in front of them is theirs, but it really belongs to 1 Stockbridge Road, but it is the base and detention for the overflow in there. So nothing can ever be done there.
That land goes with the Lenahans.
I'm sorry?
That piece of land, the drainage base. Yes.
The majority of it is the Lenahans.
Of the Lenahans.
Yeah, a portion of parcel B, though, is also part of the drainage easement. And in their deed, it's acknowledged that they know that a portion of that property is part of the drainage easement. That area in front of their house could not be transferred to them at the time of that development. The reason for it is the 3 lots that were developed there off of Stockbridge Road just has the frontage that they need, just 200 or slightly over 200 feet. So, and the area required, and also you need lot width and all that. So they could not acquire, if they wanted to, any of the Stockbridge frontage for their own access, because it was needed for the 3 lots that were developed off of Stockbridge Road. In December of 2007, Brian Yeager and Beverly Christian Yeager transferred the house and only the original lot, actually, to Beverly. And then Beverly, in July of 2019, then transferred it to her husband now and herself. Again, only the original lot of 8,625 feet. Recently, in September of this year, Brian Yeager, Beverly's ex-husband, and herself transferred that parcel B to the 2 of them. And we also did a new driveway easement agreement, which I believe you got a copy of. The reason we had to do that is, again, originally the whole lot wasn't transferred over to Beverly. And this came up because the Hiltons came to me to talk to me about, they wanted to put a garage up. And again, it's such a small lot, there was a possibility of variances or findings necessary, whether they were going to attach it and where it was going to be located and all that. Once I looked into this a little further, I realized that the whole property hadn't been transferred over. The driveway hadn't actually been located where the easement had been put on a plan. It was about roughly halfway. And also the easement could terminate in the future. So I recommend that, we get that straightened out, which again, we did. So they'll own the whole property now. And we do have a easement over the property at 1 Stockbridge Road for access to the property at 310 Comcast Street. I know, as the board knows, what the requirement for variances is, that, as stated earlier, owning to the circumstances relating to soil condition, shape, and topography of such land structure, but not affecting generally the zoning district in which it's located. A literal enforcement of the provision of the bylaws would involve substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, to the petitioner. And additionally, the desired relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good, without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of the bylaws. So again, we understand that the board has to determine that the enforcement of the provision of the bylaw, access only through or across legal frontage, will result in a substantial hardship to the property owners, and is the result of circumstances relating to soil condition, shape, or topography of the property. The enforcement of that section will result in substantial hardship and other hardships to the property owners, and that they will have to relocate their driveway back to Comcast Street from Stockbridge, with the cost of constructing a new driveway and walkway, removing the existing driveway and walkway, and re-landscaping all the affected areas. The new drive also has a safety hardship with it. The lot size does not allow for any kind of turnaround or hammerhead on the property, so you'd have to go straight in. Previously, I was informed. I think we saw you some of these pictures, so we have extras if you want to see it. But when it was located on Comcast Street, you'd have to drive straight in, and there's only enough room for really 2 cars. So if the furthest car in had to get out, everyone has to back out. So either people are backing out, or they go onto Comcast Street and back in. And again, if you're the first person in, everybody has to move in. So there's also the safety issue with regard to the driveway. And there is an elementary school across the street, and they are in that zone. These hardships are a direct result of the shape of the lot being so undersized for the area. And again, they tried to increase it at the time of the development over here by getting an additional parcel B. But there, again, there's the drainage easement on there, and there's a limit the area on their property. Also, the house is located so close to the street, you know, there's really limited area in the front yard where you can put it, and over to the left-hand side, you have the septic system over to the side and going back, so the left side cannot be used either. Therefore, the little enforcement of that section will result in financial and other hardships to the applicant, which is directly related to the shape, which is undersized lot, unusual shape, and other circumstances of the property. Additionally, the house is located on a curve on the road where people, you know, tend to get some, you know, higher speeds. Again, we're down by the borough school, and also close to an intersection, if you look at the assessor's map, where Community Way and Comcast Street, you know, intersect. There's a lot of new development, new houses down in that area. So it is a, you know, a high volume area with some speeds on it. Additionally, the requested relief would not either substantially be detrimental to the public good, nor substantially derogate from the intent of the purpose of the bylaws. The requested relief will mitigate the traffic and safety issues that would result from accessing the property from Comcast Street. Good planning, typically when you bring something in front of the planning board, they usually dictate that they want access from side streets and not from main streets. And again, that's for public safety purposes. So it would actually, we think, promote this purpose of protecting the health and safety of the town of Foxborough and Hamilton, as long as them. So again, this lot is uniquely characterized by its small size, you know, the drainage easement that they have, location of the house, and the location of the lot. And all these things is not common in that area, mainly because this house was built so long ago. So I think at that point,
All I can say right now is I'm glad that all of this is on Foxboro Cable, because I'm going to have to watch it 2 or 3 more times just to get everything.
I can get you all the numbers.
You should give us a
Because
before you even start.
I went through them today, and I actually checked a few of them with Mr. Buckley this afternoon to make sure I got it all.
Actually, Greg, why don't you come up here? It might be easier.
You want there?
I just
Sure.
want to make sure with a couple things.
Yeah.
So
This is
the drain easement would be, part of it is on parcel B, which
yep,
is owned by the Heltons, correct?
yeah, so
They own it now. They didn't have it to begin
So
with,
this
right?
is-
Back
this
when.
is lot B,
Right.
right here. The drainage is this dotted line that goes down there
Okay,
and around.
okay.
So that's the drainage easement.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
And that's
where it
basically
starts-
the gully that we have there,
Yes,
right?
and that's where it starts sloping down.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you know, you don't want to do anything right beside it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But this piece of property here,
Yep, is owned by.
Full in hands,
Yes,
okay, which would basically be,
correct.
correct, okay.
And again, you'll see that their lot has like 200, it's 26 or 12, I'm not 100% sure. They just have barely 200 feet, and it's
Mhm.
just over 200 feet here.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no room to give them
Mm-hmm.
additional. And you'll see that they were 40,010 square feet. These are larger, but you also need lot width and other things. So, I talked with, again, Bill Buckley, and he said, there was no way they could have given them any more land or any frontage at the time of the development.
So looking at, it's going to be hard to figure it here.
Yep.
Looking at this map again, your driveway probably comes in sort of over here? Not your driveway, their driveway.
Yes, right above the dotted line.
Okay. So everything is on the Linehan property until
Exactly.
that point?
Right.
Okay.
It comes over, it comes down like here.
Mm-hmm.
And previously, the easement came down like this and was supposed to come right in on that corner.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we did, a new plan. We're gonna fix it, and also fix everything.
So would the easement, the drain easement end over here, or is any of the driveway over the easement?
No, the driveway is not on the easement.
Okay. And obviously, if they wanted to put a driveway anyplace else, it would have to go over the drainage basement.
And you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because of the planning board decision.
Right.
It's language that does not allow that.
You're shaking your head.
Oh, I mean, I think, so basically this got built with no driveway originally. Well, no, the parcel out on Comcast,
When the original house was built,
oh, that's old, I see the historic sign, a plaque on the, I know that's old.
Assessors, because it was built in 1900, so.
1900.
So they probably had horse buggies then, and that was it, but,
The original deed I have is from the late 1800s. And again, when the, let me get in front of the mic. When the property was deeded out in 1923, it had the house on it. So I'm just making the assumption that the house was built late 1800s, very early 1900s, but it wasn't deeded out until 1923. Because the 1800 deed did not have a structure on it.
so the land that, the lots that make up Stockbridge Road, Stockridge Road, who owned that? Was it this house in front, or was it somebody else?
I believe it was the house to the right of Stockbridge.
To the right of Stockbridge,
Yes.
the Jacobsons?
I don't know their names.
Yeah, so if I'm looking at, say I'm across the street, I'm looking down Stockbridge, the house is to the left. So what I'm asking is, who owned that land that comprised Stockbridge, I guess, and those lots?
I think it was, the developer bought it.
From who, though? Do
I
you know?
don't know.
My assumption, and it's just an assumption, guess, call it what you want, is it's the house to the right of Stockbridge, and may I come up and show you why?
Oh, yeah,
Which map do you want to see?
yeah.
This is, I don't believe I sent this to you.
That's what this,
No, not interested.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. So if you see, this is a new lot,
Mm-hmm.
new lot, new lot, new lot. So I'm assuming this property owned all of it.
Okay,
Because they have a very strange shaped lot now.
yeah.
But again, a lot of that has to do with meeting all the requirements for a
Right.
lot and the planning board.
Right.
Now,
And I didn't even ask Billy, to be honest with you. I just made that assumption, because it kind of makes sense. They got a lot here, 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 here. Now, they might have pulled two lots together. There might have been a lot behind
Well,
it. I don't
You
know.
look at this and you say, okay, well, they're squeezing two lots out. I mean, it's kind of a
Right.
shoehorn deal to me. I mean, that's the way it is.
And-
So that would also be a Cohasset address then, right? Because I think there are only 3 addresses on Stockbridge?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't know where they come off of, actually.
Mm.
I did try to look at the deeds to see if I could figure out if that, their house came from that big parcel.
Mm-hmm.
But that old deed is
No
It's so
good.
low that I couldn't
Think
agree it up. I
hesitant.
could have, but I couldn't agree it up.
So right now, they have a driveway on a right-of-way. That's where we are. And we'd like to have a garage someday.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question. I don't want to create, if we do this, make another problem. If they drop a garage in somewhere in here, there's some setback on that
Yeah,
they're going to have to make sure they meet.
yeah, well, come back in front of you guys,
So
yeah.
you're aware of that, because you don't want to, we really don't like it when people come back 6 months later and tell us, well, we didn't think about this, you know. So you've thought about it.
Absolutely.
Well, again, the reason we're here is because it all started with them wanting a garage. And me looking at different plans saying, okay, you can need a variance here, no, there's a finding, because you're connecting it, things like that. But then once I dug into it, I said, you know, we gotta get all this straightened up. Then we sat down and said, do you wanna go for everything, you know, at once? You know, and we talked about it and said, you know what, we gotta get this straightened out. Because if we don't get this, then everything else is irrelevant at this point. They're gonna have to come off of Comcast Street and see if they can even put a garage in that way. And again, driveway would probably go right past the front of the house to the back, because that's where it's gonna really have to be located.
Now, you talked to your neighbors about this, where you have,
We've talked to them a lot. We've got a good relationship with the Lanhans, and that's how all of this started, is we were trying to figure out what we could do with the property line itself to make sure we had a legal setback with some of the sketches that we had done, and actually had a couple of designers do some drawing as well. And all of it just came back to
somewhere along the way,
these issues.
oh, and by the
And
way,
it
did
is-
you know?
Thankfully, we found out about these issues because the easement would have gone away had any of us sold our home. And that would have not have worked out for anybody, especially the new owners. And so we wanted to get this issue resolved first, and then start exploring a garage.
Yep.
And we've talked to our neighbors about the garage as well, and they're on board with it. They're fine with it. We've shown them the drawings, not even close to being a permanent drawing or a final drawing, just some ideas. And this was discovered, and that's certainly has to be resolved first, if
I get it.
possible. Yeah.
I don't really have anything else.
Frank, you said that the easement can be terminated?
The old one
The old one, okay.
had the possibility of termination, and the fact that it was not on, I mean, we didn't need, per se, to do a new one, but since it was not, again, it was about halfway on the easement, halfway off, I said, we should fix this all up, and again, go over everything with Lenahans to make sure they're fine with it. And as you can see, they signed the new easement, and, you know, they're on board with what they're proposing with here, and working with them with regard to being able to do a garage. But that's the next step. This is the first one.
May I ask a question? Did you get the color pictures? Okay.
But we, I don't know, I should say, I drove down there and sat in your
Yes.
street and
You
looked
did
at the
look at
whole
it.
thing and said,
Yeah.
oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Does anyone want?
We got them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have those. Thank
You know, I also drove down there, and it's a beautiful house, and frankly, I wish you wouldn't put a garage there, because,
What was really amazing to me was the difference from
I
the
know.
original house
yeah.
to then when she bought it with her ex-husband, and then what they did to it. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, it's very,
Okay,
it's
so
very
that's
nice.
house one, foundation, and then what we see now is.
And we want, if we did do a garage, it would just be in keeping with the house. I work in Boston 5 days a week, and it's been tough. He travels back and forth from Atlanta because he worked for Delta Airlines. So being there on my own sometime, quite a bit of time, it's just been tricky with no garage, and every other house has a garage. But we don't want to do anything that's outrageous, just something that's in keeping, tasteful, that goes along with the house, just at the end of the driveway, and
You wouldn't
attach
think
it.
that, you know, unless you start to look, you say, hey, this is an old house here. But I think it's, you know, the way, what's been done. I don't remember what that house looked like 10 or 15 years ago. And I'm over that way a bit. I have some good friends that
Okay.
you probably know, but anyhow, and I didn't speak to them about it, but I think they would have called me if they didn't like what was going on.
So Frank, you've got an easement that allows them to access the property. So again, once you go through the variance criteria again, so just like get this straight, where you're coming from.
Okay, again, the hardship would be financial as well as safety. The hardship is they're gonna have to relocate their driveway. So they're gonna have to construct a new driveway and walkway off of Cohasset Street, remove the existing driveway and walkway to a great extent, depending on where they're located, but to a great extent, and then re-landscape that whole area. All within making sure that they don't encroach or affect the drainage that's there too. So, even though the drainage is right here, you can't do something right up to the side of it. As Billy was explaining to me today, you gotta get some distance off of it, otherwise it loses some of its integrity. And then, again, the safety issue with regard to coming off a main street versus a side street, which again, when
You don't want to back out of driveways in that stretch.
no.
Come
And again,
at you.
before it was, a short driveway, with only two cars, you get back to back, and again, if you're the front one, you have that, those issues. And, so again, I think this would, that would protect the health and safety of the town's inhabitants as well as their own. And, it really goes, again, to the uniqueness of the lot and the character of it, and that it's so small, even though they've tried to add to it. They were limited in what they could do, and, you have a drainage easement there, the location of the septic system, and location of the house, being on top of the road.
Yeah.
Kim, any questions, thoughts?
So the driveway where it is now, that's been there since 98? How long has it been?
Approximately.
98, 99. That's when
Yeah,
the,
just
that's when the renovation went on, and I'm sure they did it at the end, if you're having trucks coming back and
Right.
forth, or at least that's when the pavement went down.
Okay, and prior to 1998, there was a short driveway off of Cohasset. Okay.
Yes, and in one of the photos, you can see, this is again, a picture from where Stockbridge would be,
Oh, from Stockbridge, okay.
and that's the driveway right there.
Oh, I see, okay.
And the doorway was always there. There was never a door, that you could see from Cohasset Street. It was always around the side of the house where it is now. That was where it was always located.
Okay. So the driveway I'm looking at this right now, so the driveway and the two windows that have awnings on them, those two faced what is now Stockbridge.
Right. And again, but the driveway went out towards Cohasset.
George Cohasset, okay, thank you.
So before the road went in, before Stockbridge Road went in, it was just a driveway off of Cohasset?
Before Stockbridge, yes.
Okay.
I think I'm good, thank you.
Kurt, any questions or comments?
No, straightforward enough for me.
Think we beat this thing to death or something?
You sure? Because you're going to write this decision.
Okay.
We'll see if your new equipment can do that. Dave, anything else?
No, I'm fine with it.
Scott, anything?
I think it's unfortunate that, that the opportunity on this was in 97 when they laid this thing out.
Yeah.
This is not,
I could not get a good explanation.
and
as
it's
to
your
why-
buddy, was it
Be-
Buckley, your buddy Buckley?
Yeah, he couldn't,
Blame it on
That's
Bill.
Bill, not Buddy.
Blame it on Bill?
Buddy's his cousin.
you know, because that would have been the time to ask the endorsement of the planning board, which I think they would have, to come in front of you, to try to get
Probably
it
would
at
have had
that
the
point.
base, that whole
Bill.
basin someplace else. That's really, I think, the thing that starts the ball rolling with all the issues here is they put that big drainage, that's a pretty big drainage basin, I
Yeah.
think. for
If I had to
2 or
guess,
3
and this is
houses.
just a guess, I think that's where it probably had to go. That's probably the low point of that whole area, you know? And again, they couldn't have given any of that area to them at that time because, mainly because of the frontage, but they needed the area for the other lots and for, you know, lot width and all those other things. So Bill did confirm that there was, you know, they couldn't have given them, you know, any of that frontage or any of that area, so it's needed. And you'll see from the original plan to what was the revised plan for Lot 1A and 3A, they did that to be able to get more land into that parcel B for them to receive, which included a portion of the drainage. So even though it's no really good to them, because they can't do anything on that drainage easement or too close to it, it was just additional land for them, for their property, to help them, you know, get more conforming in those 3 different ways.
Scott, any questions or?
Well, my first thoughts on this, when I first saw this, was my concerns were for the safety response from emergency services, like EMS and stuff like that, because I would have to come off of Stockbridge Road instead of Cohasset. But now that I'm hearing it, it seems like Cohasset is a very busy street. It's probably a blessing in disguise if they had to access the from Stockbridge Road for God forbid, for emergency services, because then it's a safer entrance and exit from that area. So I kind of like flip-flop my opinion there. So I think it is a better setup, like the one they are proposing.
Okay, good, thank you. So why don't we close the public portion? There's nobody
I
here.
move we close the public portion.
Second.
And all in favor? I'll probably be calling you soon, just to get some of this background, but, you know, again, I asked Diana to send out the 3 cases that between she and I, we could think of dealing with access, and this is similar to a couple of them, at least, you know, a couple we've approved, you know, as far as some feature of the property that dictates the issue. So I think you've, you know, demonstrate the appropriate, you know, need for it and the compliance with the zoning requirements, with the variance requirements. Anything else, Dave?
No, I'm good with it.
Tim?
In Cohasset Street, that's a fast bit of road right there.
They really move along that part of it particularly, believe me. Like I say, I know people over there, and man, when I leave their house, I feel like I'm rolling at ice, backing out.
So, why don't we give him a motion?
I move we grant the requested variance.
Second.
And do we have any conditions? I can't
None
think of
come to
any.
mind with me.
And I can't think of any other special permits, variances, or findings. I think you just did that to, you know, let us use our
The easement
imagination.
locates it, so it has to be there anyway. so
Yeah.
It can't be moved. So the only condition is that, you know, they have to access it as indicated on the plan, I would think.
You know, the other thing with this, I believe if I heard Frank right, if we didn't do this, there could be an issue down the road about your easement,
If you sell the property, I mean.
if you sell the property to you, but, I mean, that could be
It could prevent you-
another mess.
Could prevent you from selling the property.
Yeah,
Somebody
Yeah,
gets
that's why we're
a piece
trying
of
to straighten
property,
all
they
this out
can't even
now.
put a vehicle on it.
Right.
right.
Okay, all in favor? And opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Don't go away,
Good luck.
Okay,
because I want to just bring people up to date on things. So, the signed bylaw. So we met with the Board of Selectmen, and they agreed to put something, we'll probably make some changes, do some tweaks here and there, but they agreed to put something on the warrant. they haven't taken a position yet. They know that we haven't taken a position yet. We'll see.
Did you see the plan showing where possible locations of signs?
The one that Ryan Norton did?
The town did, yeah.
Yeah. I've got a couple of other thoughts in that regard. Number one would be to eliminate allowing static billboards. And two, potentially increasing the distance, which would cut the potential number down. But it's something that I want to think about and perhaps, see what, what can be done.
One of the things that I think, again, I've talked with Mr. Buckley, some of that area is wetlands.
Yeah.
So I think max, there could possibly be 5.
That's what I felt in looking at it, yeah.
Because of the wetlands and the distances and all that, that's max. And if we get even more information with regard to wetlands, it may be reduced.
Yeah.
But between Arthur Rounds and the DPW, it looks like only one more could go in there. And the other one's down there really has to do with distance and wetlands. So right now, I'd say the 4, maybe 5, depending on where they're located in the wetlands.
Yeah, that was, again, it was Mark's question, and if he's, very concerned about it, perhaps by increasing the distance, we can, eliminate, a potential 1 or 2, so. But other than that, I guess there's a placeholder on the warrant for what, we had looked at last month.
That is my understanding too. And I think it, right now, it's as is, and where you guys had the blank of 300, we had the blank 300 has been placed in there with the understanding.
Yeah, 300 is as far as how far it would have to be from a residential unit. Yeah.
But you were thinking about increasing the 1,000-foot distance.
Yeah.
And restricting it to just electronic billboards.
Yeah. Because right now, the way, if I remember the map correctly, between Arthur's and one of the DPW property, there was an area where you could put one in.
Yeah.
And you could certainly put a static in there.
Yeah. The other way you could do it is limit all billboards to be 1,000 feet. So that if someone wanted to put up a static, it's got to be 1,000 feet from any other one.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's going to put a static up.
Yeah, I don't think so
there
either,
anyway. But if you limited all billboards to 1,000 feet, it'd probably do what you're looking to do.
Yeah. But something we'll talk about.
Yep.
Okay. You're dismissed. I'll be in touch.
Great.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Minutes. So I had a couple of small changes that I sent to Diana the other day as far as the January minutes.
And the December minutes.
And Diana told me
had
today
gotten
that I
stuck
had,
in my draft thing, so I sent them out right after the last meeting. Marty sent me back edits.
which I completely forgot about, but Diana told me.
So we have 2 sets of minutes, December and
Alrighty.
January.
If you're fine, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Fine,
Motion?
Move to accept the minutes,
December and January.
December and January.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Anything in from March yet?
Another guy asking about a garage on a weird shaped lot, but I don't know if he'll come back.
We may have,
Oh, and,
Scott, I don't
Bill-
know if you've heard anything further on 124 Washington Street on that billboard?
Bill Casbarra was asking me about advertising costs and other
Yeah.
things about that, so that might be coming.
Yeah, Bill said to me today that he is trying to get that in by next week. So, I don't know if you've heard anything further, or,
Myself? No, Mr.
Okay.
Chair. I did sit down with him, I think the first week that I started, and discussed what he was going to potentially propose. And that's where we left it. And he was just going to look for a modification. But he has to do some engineering work, or they have to do some engineering work to get that modification proposed and drawn up before they come to the board. So that might be taking some time right now.
yeah, what Bill told me today was he's just waiting for the materials, for the information from Lamar, so.
Exactly. I mean, it takes some time because they're overburdened right now, as everybody is, because the construction is just crazy. but yeah, he said it should be soon.
Okay, so we may have that for March. The only other thing that I got is on the Moore Street project. They still do not have their project eligibility letter. If you read the Reporter today, Diana can confirm all this, I guess they will resolve the wetlands issues?
Yeah, they get their ANRAD from Conservation. Now that's subject to appeal. I know the Dan Booms. I don't know if they will or not, but they sent a strongly worded email that they weren't happy. So,
Is there a 20-day appeal period for that too, or?
I think it might be 10. Yet they have to appeal to the DEP,
Okay.
I think within 10 days.
I believe it is 10.
10 days from,
10 days from when it was sent to the DEP, it was sent to the DEP Tuesday morning.
oh, this is this week?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. But we'll wait and see. And again, still no project eligibility letter. No reason to believe there's a problem with it, it's just the, delay in the state level. And I don't have anything else unless anybody, anything?
Hey, good luck. We'll stop by and see you someday. I'm kind of a haunt. at the
Look forward to
town hall.
meeting everybody in person. I apologize for not being there tonight.
That's
All
okay.
right.
No problem, welcome.
Thank
So-
you. Look forward to working with everybody.
Likewise. Motion to adjourn.
Will we adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, we are done.
Thank you.
When did you guys sneak all your masks on?
Good night.
Looking around, I was like,